counselors.
Try the newest, cheapest, and fastest delivery na express service. Introducing Moto Express PH. You can now leave your shopping and delivery needs with us without much exposure and interaction to people outside. Mapa-grocery items, medicines, foods, and other essentials and halal-certified products, kami na ang mamimili at maghahatid sa'yo. Sinisigurado na ligtas, in good and quality condition ang mga pabili o orders sa delivery service na iyong i-avail. Para sa maayos at mabilis na delivery at order mo, ipamoto mo na. Download Moto Express PH app through Google Play that is built to deliver beyond your expectation. Tara na dito sa Moto Express. Dahil moto mo to.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. In the name of Allah, the entirely merciful, especially merciful. To start with our program, may I call in Sister Mariam Kudir of Bacolod to acknowledge the people who are making this program possible. Sister Mariam.
Assalamualaikum rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, everyone. Good morning. Mayong aga sa taga Bacolod. I am Sister Mariam Kudir. You're watching Batas at Shariah with Shariah Counsel Attorney Nor Hernandez. And before we start this program, allow me to thank you to our dear President, PPTP 168, Mr. Ismail Abaya Marahaja, and my Kasimanwa, Director Zeno Martinez, and Assistant Director Carvin Russ. To our dear viewers, please stay with us as we share another topic today. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and also click the notification bell for more updates, and don't forget to share. With me this morning is Sister Elinida Diaz, and we share the topic based on our opinion and with the basis with the reading on the PD 1083. For our young audience, parental guidance is advised. And hi to my husband, Abdul Kuder. He is now watching. And back to you, Sister Elinida.
Thank you so much, Sister Mariam. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, brothers and sisters in Islam, as well as to our brothers and sisters in humanity. Once again, I and Sister Mariam are happy to be spending an hour with you in this Batas at Sharia program of Sharia Counselor Nor Hernandez at Global Pinas TV 168 program to discuss some issues that are governed by our Civil Code of the Philippines, as well as some provisions in the Code of Muslim Personal Laws of the Philippines. We would like to remind you that what we will be sharing here are our own opinions, and that for you to get a clear concept or clear concepts, proper actions to take with regards to issues you are having, we advise you to seek the expertise of Sharia counselors. As an overview of today's program, we will be discussing the case of Atilano Onoliura Jr., the petitioner, versus People of the Philippines, the respondent. Sister Mariam Kudir of Bacolod will give you the details on the case, after which we will be tackling the facts, the issues, and rulings of the court. Please stay tuned with us for the duration of time and consider this information we'll be sharing with you as beneficial knowledge. You might not be directly affected by the case we will be discussing, but maybe this will give you an idea on how to share the concepts, the issues at hand with some of your Muslim friends who are having marital issues. Sister Mariam, can you please read to us the Atiliano Onoliura Jr. versus People of the Philippines case?
Yes, I am reading the case of Atiliano Onoliura Jr., the petitioner, versus People of the Philippines respondent, GR number 191425, dated September 7, 2011, under Judge Carpio J. The case is GR number 191425, is petition for review assailing the decision promulgated on September 30, 2009, as well as resolution promulgated on 23 February 2010 by the Court Appeals Appellate Court in GCAGR CR number 31538. The Appellate Court affirmed the November 19, 2007 decisions of the Branch 215 of the Regional Trial Court in Quezon City, Trial Court, in criminal case Q04129011 129031. The trial court found accused Atiliano O. Leonora Jr. guilty of bigamy under Article 349 of the Revised Penal Code and instead him to suffer imprisonment. Geraldino was accused of persecution endured to her guilty beyond reasonable doubt. The fact appeal the court recited the fact as follows. On August 24, 2004, Assistant City Prosecutor Record Jonathan Dean filed information against Atiliano Leonora Jr. and Rowena Geraldino for the crime of bigamy. The accusatory portion of the information is that on or about 18th day of December 2001, in Quezon City, Philippines, the above named and accused Atiliano O. Leonora Jr. being then legally married to Mr. Pinat Nonora. As the said marriage has been legally dissolved and still subserting, given the firm willfully and lawfully synonymous contract subsequent on the second marriage with her to accused Rowena P. Geraldino, who knowingly consented and agreed to be married to her accused Adriano Leonora Jr., knowing him to be married man, to the damage of prejudice of the said offense parties in Pinat and Leonora. Upon his arraignment on April 18, 2005, accused Leonora, assisted by counsel, refused to enter his plea, and the plea of not guilty was entered by the court for hearing. Accused Geraldino, on the other hand, entered a plea of not guilty when arraigned on June 14, 2005. Even state pre-trial conference was held on both prosecution and defense under the following stipulation and facts. Number one, the validity of the first marriage, Atiliano Leonora Jr. and Mr. Pinat Nonora, solemnized on September 6, 1999, and at Tapang Palay, Atiliano Leonora Jr. contracted the second marriage with Rowena P. Geraldino on December 8, 2001 in Quezon City. In the counter affidavit of Atiliano Leonora Jr., he admitted the contracted the second marriage to Rowena Geraldino. That Rowena P. Geraldino attached to her counter affidavit the certificate of marriage with Atiliano Leonora dated on December 8, 2001. The fact of marriage of Rowena Geraldino with Atiliano Leonora Jr. as admitted in her counter affidavit. The issue thus profound by the prosecution of the RTC resolution is whether or not the second marriage is bigamous. Afterwards, pre-trial conference was terminated and the case was set for initial hearing thereafter trial issued. So the story here, Sister Elenida, the issue whether or not the second marriage is bigamous or and void. But before that, I will tell the story of this evidence for the defense. Evidence for the prosecution, I mean. As culled from her in a sealed decision, the representative testimonies of the prosecution with this work was follow. Witness Jesusa Pinat Nonora testified that she accused Italiano Leonora, that is her husband, and meet in Saudi Arabia where she was working there as a staff midwife in King Abdullah Naval Base Hospital. Atiliano Leonora Jr. courted her on, and April 6, 1999, they got married at the MALIF Church in Sapang Palay, San Jose del Monte, Bulacan. While working in the said hospital, she heard rumors that her husband has another wife, and because of anxiety and emotional stress, she left Saudi Arabia and returned to the Philippines on October 4, 2005. Upon arrival in the Philippines, the private complainant learned that indeed Atiliano Oleonora, that her husband, contracted a second marriage with co-accused Rowena P. Giraldino on December 8, 2001, when she was secured certificate as to the civil status of Atiliano Oleonora from the National Statistic Office, sometimes in November 23. Upon learning this information, the private complainant confronted Rowena P. Giraldino at the latter's workplace in CBW FTI Taguig and asked her if she know of the first marriage between complainant and Atiliano Oleonora Jr., to which Rowena P. Giraldino allegedly affirmed, and despite this knowledge, she alleged still married to Atiliano Jr. Because she loves him so much and because they were neighbors and they are childhood friends, private complainant also knew that Rowena P. Giraldino knew of her marriage with Atiliano Leonora Jr. Because when she, complainant, was brought by Atiliano Leonora at the latter's residence in Taguig, Metro Manila, and introduced her to Atiliano Leonora, parents, Rowena Giraldino was there in the house together with his friend, and she heard everything that they were talking about. Because of this case, the private complainant, Jesus Sapinat, was not able to return to Saudi Arabia to work as a staff midwife. Thereby, she losing income opportunity in the amount of 34,000 a month or less than. And when asked about her moral damages she suffered, she declared that what happened to her was tragedy and she had entertained thoughts of committing suicide. She added that because of what happened to her, her mother died and she almost got raped when Atiliano Leonora left her alone in her residence in Saudi Arabia. However, they declared that money is not enough to assuage her sufferings. Instead, she asked for the return for her money in the amount of 50,000 pesos. Prosecution witness Ruth Santos testified that she knew of the marriage between the private complainant and Atiliano Leonora Jr. because she was one of the sponsors in the said wedding, sometimes in November 2003. She was asked by the private complainant to accompany to the later to the workplace of Rowena P. Giraldino. So nagkompronta sila in the FTI Taguig, Metro Manila. She declared that the private complainant and Rowena P. Giraldino was confronted, and she heard that Rowena P. Giraldino admitted that she, Rowena, knew of the first marriage of Atiliano Jr. and the private complainant, but still went on to marry Atiliano because she loved him so much. So, sister, the question is here is if their marriage is allowable, whether or not the second marriage is bigamos. That is the issue that we need to talk about it based on our PD 1083. Sister Elinida, yeah, can you please on your microphone?
Thank you for reading the case of Atiliano Onoliura Jr. versus People of the Philippines, Sister Mariam. Yes, you're right when stressing on those two issues. So again, this is why was Atiliano, or in this case, convicted with, or is the marriage of Atilano Onoliura with Rowena valid? Especially this is done in Islamic rights. Yes, sister.
This marriage was done in the Civil Code of the Philippines, not in the Islamic rights. But according to Atiliano, he is embraced Muslim before he got married to his sister.
Okay. So since he was married to Jesusa Pinat, uh, to civil rights, then we can assume that he could not use PD 1083 to raise his case. Yeah,
Right.
okay. But why is it, sister, that he could not use PD 1083? Well, in fact, in your narration, Atilano Nuyura embraced Islam.
Mm-mm.
Why is it that he cannot use again?
Because he got married in Hisusa Pinat on the civil code of the Philippines. It's not applicable on the application of our Islamic rights. In Article 13, application, can we read, Sister Elenida?
Yes, please.
Application in case of marriage in the section 2, again, in Article 13, application section 2, in case of marriage between a Muslim and non-Muslim solemnized not accordance with the Muslim law or this code, the civil code of the Philippines shall prevail. That since Atiliano contracted marriage in the civil case, the PT 1083 is not applicable on him, Sister Linida.
Thank you for bringing up this provision of our PD 1083. Again, our
Yes,
viewers, we are highlighting on the article number 13, paragraph 2 of PD 1083, of which in case of marriage between a Muslim and a non-Muslim, because at that time, Jesus Pinat was not a Muslim. So, of course, Atilano could not use PD 1083. Instead, it's the Civil Code of the Philippines that would be the basis on the decision of the court for its rulings. Now, Sister
yes.
Mariam, could you please cite some principle in Islam on monogamy and polygamy? This is on page or number one on page four, page four, on the principle of monogamy versus polygamy.
Can you read it na lang, Sister Elenita?
Okay, thank you. The principle in Islam that monogamy is the general rule, and polygamy is allowed only to meet urgent needs. Only with the permission of the court can a Muslim be permitted to have a second wife subject to certain requirements. This is because having plurality of wives is merely tolerated, not encouraged. So we hope that this is clear to our viewers why um, or the difference between monogamy and polygamy in Islam. And of course, in the case of Atilano, because he is a Muslim, he might be thinking that with this PD 1083, he can contract subsequent marriages, having another wife, second wife, third wife, or the fourth wife. What do you think, Sister Mariam?
Yes, he is expecting that when he become a Muslim, he is not he is allowable to get married now. But he forget that he contracted marriage under the civil code of the Philippines, not in our Islamic right, sister.
Yeah, this is what we would like to educate our fellow Filipino Muslims, especially for those who are not yet familiar with the Sharia law or the Civil Code of the Philippines, that it's not that we can use religion to favor on our side. We have to know what are for example, the elements of marriage in Islamic way, or what are the prerequisites And of course, if we don't have enough knowledge with regards to these provisions of our PD 1083, we must have to consult expert with regards to explanation on this to us prior to taking steps, especially in contracting subsequent marriages. So again, it's clear that by principle in Islam, monogamy is general rule, and polygamy is allowed only to meet urgent needs. Only with the permission of the court, please take note, only with the permission of the court can a Muslim be permitted to have a second wife, subject to certain requirements. And of course, in the case of Atilano Onulura Jr., something was not really in accordance with our law, the PD 1083. Right, Sister Mariam? Do you
Yes,
think?
and the sad story is he contracted another marriage and still in the civil code because he was thinking that he is a Muslim and allow again to get married in the second wife, but he get married again in the civil code, right?
And do you think that the Rowena knew that he was Muslim when they contracted a marriage?
Based on the story, after that the said that they filed the complaint in the court, that is the time that Atiliano say to them that he is a Muslim.
Oh, so there was really something a deceit on the side of this Atilano Nuliura. He did not reveal to Rowena on his being a Muslim. So when he contracted a marriage, the second marriage, was it reflected on the marriage certificate, Sister Mariam, that he is a Muslim?
Sister Lenida, see Atiliano, he got married to Rowena. That also Rowena know that he has already married to Isusa. But depending on the side of Atiliano, he said that he is a Muslim and he can be married until four wives. That is the mistake of Atiliano. But the problem is Isusa filed complaint on Atiliano as a bigamy. Before be informing to our viewers, when you are contracted a marriage under the Civil Code of the Philippines, you are not allowed to get married again. Even stated that you are a Muslim, you just finish first the Civil Code or get annulment from the first wife before you get into another marriages. Because the Civil Code of the Philippines will accuse you as a bigamy. We filed you a case bigamy because you are married in the civil code of the Philippines, not in the Muslim rights.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your opinion, Sister Mariam. Yes, as we have mentioned earlier, that what we are sharing here are our opinions, and of course, for specific details on cases like this, you need to consult the Sharia lawyer who are more expert on the concerns on the issue or the issues that you are having now. But of course, from the case that we have read or we have heard from Sister Mariam, it was clear enough that his marriage to Jesus Sapina was done in a civil manner, as well as with his marriage to Rowena was also done in a civil right. And according to the narration that Sister Maria mentioned earlier, that there was something Atiliano was not honest enough to tell Rowena that he was Muslim until such time this first wife, whom he contracted marriage under civil um, rights, raised this to the court, right, Sister Mariam? It was only after
Yes, I would
Jesus.
like to inform our viewers also, no, this is stated again and again that if you are married to a civil right here in the Philippines, you cannot contract it again a second marriages to anyone because it will be the civil code of the Philippines prevail you to that law. And since that Rowena Geraldino know that already, maybe she's thinking that okay, he is a Muslim man and she is allowed. But since again on the civil code, it's not allowed to her or him to get married because they will accuse us of bigamy.
Yeah, of course. We'd like to again tell or share with our viewers that before Atilano Onoliura Jr. can have subsequent marriage, he has to resolve first his
The
marriage with his visa. But in the case of Atilano, he did not do it because he feels that or he felt that he is a Muslim. He has the right to contract subsequent marriage, but of course, this is happening to him already. This affect this marriage that he contracted with Rowena greatly affected him because he was not able to solve first his prior marriage. So, our dear viewers, especially those who are the Balik Islam, the Filipino Balik Islam, we should not decide by ourselves or that based on what we hear from those people whom we looked up to because they are having such position in the Islamic community. Could be they are the ulama or the da'i, without knowing the what are really are these um, laws in the under the code of Muslim personal law that are they're not, shall we say, some people are really, they're, yes, they're expert on the religious side, but on the legal side they lack something. And with this lack of knowledge and the if I am going to use the right word, the ignorance to this law really has a greater effect on the person that violated. As Muslims, we are encouraged to abide by the laws of the land as well as the law in Islam. So we should not be somebody who think that we are above the law. We are Filipino Muslims, and there are laws in our country, and there are laws also in our, we have the Sharia law to be our guidance or our guide on in every actions that we have to take. And as much as possible, we have to educate ourselves from time to time because remember, laws are really hers, and we are really liable to every actions that we are taking into. So, Sister Mariam, can you please state if in the case of Rowena, is she liable to this bigamy?
Okay, I will read this one on. During his cross-examination, he declared that if a Muslim converted gets married not accordance with the Muslim faith, the same is contrary to the teaching of the Muslim faith. A Muslim also can marry up to 4 times, but he should be able to treat them equally. He claimed that he was not aware on the first marriage, but was aware on the second marriage. Since his second marriage with Rowena P. Geraldino was not in accordance in the Muslim faith, he advised Atiliano Jr. to remarry Rowena Geraldino in accordance with the Muslim marriage celebration. Otherwise, he will not be considered as a Muslim, a true Muslim. And in Rowena Geraldino alleged that she was only a victim in the incident of bigamous marriage. She claimed that she does not know the private complainant Jesus Sapinat Nonora and only came to know her when his case was filed. She insists that she is one lawfully married to Atiliano, having been a marriage with later since December 2001, upon learning that Atiliano contracted the first marriage with the private complainant. But I would like to emphasize this also, the PD 1083, the Article 27, Sister Elinida.
Yes, please.
If you are a man that you want to be contracted to marriage, second marriage, you should know this Article uh, 27 in PD 1083. I will read this,
Can you
Sister
read,
Elinida.
Sister Mariam?
Yeah. By a husband, notwithstanding with the rule of Islamic law permitting a Muslim to have more than two wives, but one wife, unless he can deal with them equally, companionship and just treatment enjoined by Islamic law, and only exceptional cases. To to our dear man, if you want to be contracted another marriages to Islamic rights, you should know that you are capable to give equally companionship and just treatment to the both wife. Sister Elinida.
Yeah. Thank you for emphasizing these two conditions that have to be met by a Muslim who is contracting subsequent marriages. That at first, Sister Mariam emphasized on Article 27 of PD 1083 that the husband must deal with the wives with equal companionship as well as just treatment. So if these conditions are not met, please remember by PD 1083 of this Article 27, you are really liable. And to our dear Muslima or fellow Balik Islam sisters, if ever this is happening in with you or in you, we have a law that really protects us. And this one is that take note, if you have sensed already that there is no more equal companionship, you can use PD 27, or I mean PD 1083, Article 27, to raise your case to the court. Of course, the court that you'll be has the jurisdiction of your case is the Sharia Circuit Court. And in this Article 27, there's also a statement that, as enjoined by Islamic law, only in exceptional cases. So there are also exceptional cases. Can we reiterate what are these exceptional cases, which are in Article 27 of PD 1083, Sister Mariam, so that our viewers will really be informed that they can contract subsequent marriage if they are on this exception, if they qualify. So what are these exceptions?
Yes, go ahead, Sister Elinida.
So these exemptions, again, we'd like to inform our viewers. Those are exempted are the military men. They're exempted. Of course, they would be assigned to far-flung places to perform their duties and responsibilities to the country, and they are allowed by our Islamic law to contract subsequent marriage. What other exemption that we can mention aside from being in the military employment, Sister Mariam? Is there any
Yeah,
other?
seafarer. Yes, for the seafarer also.
Okay, thank you for that. So we have identified that, and going back to the question of which is really Rowena liable for the what or the case on the bigamy, and Sister Maria mentioned that as she was really innocent in the case. In the first place, on the marriage contract or the on the ceremony or the paper signed by Atilano Onulura, he 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 accept or he admitted that he was single, right? So
Mm-mm.
of course with
We
that,
proceed. I will read, sister, the
yes,
trial
can
of
you read?
court. Yeah. In the decision dated November 19, 2007, the trial court convicted Nolora and acquitted Geraldino. So si Geraldino na acquit. The trial court stated that there are only two exceptions to prosecution for bigamy. Article 41 of the Family Code or Executive Order number 209 and Article 180 of the Code of Muslim Personal Law of the Philippines and Presidential Decree 1083. The trial court also cited Article 27 of the Code of Muslim Personal Law of the Philippines, which provide the qualification for allowing Muslim men to have more than one wife. Muslim male can have more than one wife unless he can deal with them equally companionship and just treatment as enjoyed by the Islamic law and exceptional cases. But wherefore, princes consider judgment thereby rendered as follow to Atiliano, finding accused Atiliano o Leonora guilty beyond reasonable doubt for the crime of bigamy, punishable under Article 349 of the Reverse Penal Code. This court hereby render judgment imposing upon him a prison term of 2 years, 4 months, and 1 day for prison correctional as a minimum of this indeterminate sentence to 8 years and 1 day of prison mayor as a maximum plus unnecessary penalties provided by the law. Magpatong-patong na. And for the Rowena Geraldino, she was accused Rowena Geraldino of the crime of bigamy for failure of the prosecution to prove her guilty beyond reasonable doubt. So, si Rowena Geraldino was acquitted by the bigamy filing a failure of prosecution to prove that that she is guilty, Sister Elenida.
Yeah.
So for our viewers again, we would like to remind that when you get entered again to get married, you should know first the man that you be married. And of course, you must be secure and find it the real story who is the man that you want to be married.
Thank you for emphasizing these provisions from our PD 1083 as well as on the Civil Code of the Philippines, Sister Mariam. Again, we would like to remind our viewers that these are our opinion and as well as that you can seek legal expertise from the Sharia lawyers. And the one that was pointed or were pointed out by Sister Mariam, why did the court finds Atilano Onuliura Jr. Criminal liable for his action, but Rowena was spared or he was not shall we say he was acquitted. And again, it was stressed by Sister Mariam that Atilano Onuliura Jr. guilty beyond reasonable doubt of the crime of bigamy punishable under Article 349 of the Revised Penal Code. Let's remember
Yes,
that as Filipino Muslims, we are bound by the Civil Code of the Philippines as well as the Revised Penal Code of the Philippines. So again, the court ruled that the Nuliura was guilty beyond reasonable doubt, basing on this Article 349. And of course, we'd like to stress so that our viewers would know how how long would Atiliano be staying in the jail. Sister Mariam, can you read again the minimum punishment or the maximum terms that Atiliano would have to stay in prison because of
yes,
this
he will
of
stay.
bigamy.
He will stay in
Take note.
another places
Yeah.
with four
Okay.
bars. 2 years and 4 months and the 1 day of prison correctional as minimum of this intermediate sentence. Um, Up to 8 years and 1 day prison mayor as a maximum plus accessory penalties provided by law. So,
My
ang
dear
pinaka-minimum
brothers,
lang,
or
minimum lang is 2 years and 4 months and 1 day. Yan,
so
sister.
our dear brothers and sisters, imagine even staying 1 day in prison. Do you think you would like it? How
Of
much
course
more
not.
having these 2 years minimum and to the maximum of 8 years? This is really
Yes.
unimaginable. And of
And
course, yes, Sister Mariam.
and also we would like to remind our sisters also before they get married, they should know the essential requisite of the marriage in Article 15. Sister Linida, can you explain it to them about the essential requisite, about the legal capacity of a man who entered or contracted to a marriage? Sister Linida.
Okay. Since this is also in connection with the marriage of Jesus Apina with Atiliano, of course, Atiliano claimed that he is a Muslim, but on this article number 15 of our PD 1083, these are the essential requisites. No marriage contract shall be perfected unless the following essential requisites are compiled with. A. Take note, the legal capacity of the contracting parties. The legal
Yes.
capacity here, would like to share our opinion to our with our viewers that this could be his capacity to support you as a wife with regards to your status or standing in our society. And
Yes.
then, of course, on paragraph B of this Article 15, there is that mutual consent of the parties freely given. So there should be no force that is happening for one to say yes to contract marriage with the other. And letter C, paragraph letter C, there is what we call the offer. The man would offer to the wife to be, we call this as ijab, and acceptance of the bride on that offer. We call this acceptance as kabul. Of course, there are the witnesses. These are duly witnesses, at least two competent persons. Take note, competent persons. After the proper guardian in marriage has given his consent. So there is really condition on this, on paragraph 2. After the proper guardian in marriage has given his consent. And on paragraph 4, our dear viewers, this stipulation of customary door duly witnessed by the two competent persons. When these four are present, then the marriage that is the marriage ceremony is really in line with the Islamic rites. So these four elements must be present to make it valid.
Okay.
Okay?
Yes, Sister Linida. And I would like also to emphasize about the elements of bigamy to Atiliano
Yes,
and
please.
for further information, yes. In Article 349 of the Reverse Penal Code provides, bigamy, penalty, and prison mayor shall be imposed upon any person who shall contracted a second or subsequent marriage before the former marriage has been legally dissolved or before the absent spouse has been declared presumed effectively dead by means of judgment rendered in the proper proceeding. The elements of the crime of bigamy are the offender has been legally married, that the marriage has not been legally dissolved, is na he don't give any um, what do you call that, the divorce papers to the first wife. He did not dissolve the first marriage, or in cases her spouse is absent spouse could not yet be presumed dead according to the civil code. And the number three, the contract of a subsequent marriage. And the four, that the second subsequent marriage shall has all essential requisite of validity. So again, before we end our program, Sister Elinida, I would like to say assalamu alaikum to our viewers who are watching now from Davao City and Saudi Arabia. Assalamu alaikum to everyone. And to our viewers, Sister Elinida, please don't forget to like and subscribe, and also click the notification bell up for more updates. And don't forget to share. This show is every Batas at Sharia every Sunday, 12 to 1 p.m. And we would like also to invite dear Sister Khadija, our show, every Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. We share some story of our different sisters.
Okay, thank you, Sister Mariam. Of course, our dear viewers, our Sister Mariam has given us an overview what really happened to uh, Atilano O Nuliora Jr. So the court ruling was that he was really convicted of bigamy. But remember, before the final decision of imposing the penalty upon Atiliano, of course, Tilano has also given the rights to appeal for his petition. He raised it to the appellate court, but again, the appellate court dismissed Noliura's appeal and affirmed the trial court's decision. So this really happened if we are not careful on the actions that we are going to take. As Muslims, we would like again to remind each and everyone, these are also reminders to us as Muslimah that whatever decisions that we have to make sure that we not only rely on our capacity to think or to decide. We have to know from people who are knowledgeable on this case, for example, on these issues, because as Muslims, we have we have we call the responsibility also with our society. Whatever wrongdoings we might be committing would really affect the our community, not only the Muslim community, but the society as a whole. So we are always reminded or encouraged that to know from time to time not only the religious obligations that we have as Muslims, but since we are our 24 hours is not only for our prayers, for our obligation as Muslim, but we are also connected with, for example, with our partner in life, with our husband, or with your wife, with the community. From time to time, we have to educate ourselves. Like this program of Batas at Sharia, of Sharia Counselor Noor, this is regularly done on Saturday from 12 noon to 1 o'clock.
And
And
Sunday.
maybe you can watch those previous videos that have been made by Sharia Counselor Noor with regards to the laws that really affect us as Muslims. So once again, we are really happy for bearing with us. We believe uh, you have other things to do, yet you are with us for the duration of time. I hope and we hope that this would not only this not only be passed to from one ear to another, but this must be put into our hearts and minds on what really are these responsibilities that we always carry? What are these obligations? So that we would be living peacefully, harmoniously with the humanity as a whole. And as Muslims, especially as Muslima, we must be role models. Again, thank you for watching. For my fellow Muslim sisters, especially in the Central Visayas, maayong udto kaninyong tanan. Sa ato mga Muslim sisters na sa Toledo Islamic Center, Pinamungahan Islamic Center, and we have a lot of Islamic centers. There are also Islamic centers in the islands of Bantayan, Hilantagan Island. In the northern part of Cebu, we have some Islamic centers in San Remigio, Daan Bantayan, Tuburan, Asturias, and many more. As again, we are happy that you take time with us and learn with us. And next time, we encourage you to message us or ask questions or comment us so that we will be learning also from you. Yes, Sister Mariam.
Yes, thank you for the viewers and would like to inform that Batas at Sharia are willing to listen whatever problems that our sisters have. And for more information, sisters, that regarding the jurisdiction of our circuit court, the Sharia circuit court caters about the matters of marriages, divorce, and betrothal of breach of contract contrary to marry, customary dower disposition and distribution of property upon divorce, and maintenance and support and consolatory gift, mutua, and the restitution of marital right. All cases involving dispute relative communal properties like ancestral, articraft, cemetery, and all the houses, the Sharia Circuit Court is this is the jurisdiction of the Sharia Circuit Court, and this Sharia Circuit Court located in the permanent station and offices. Take note, the district court shall, the Sharia Circuit Court shall establish as follow, in the province of Sulu, and the province of Tawi-Tawi, and the province of Basilan, Zamboanga del Norte, Zamboanga del Sur, and the city of Dipulog, Pagadian, and Zamboanga. Province of Lanao del Norte, Lanao del Sur, and the cities of Iligan and Marawi. The province of Maguindanao, North Cotabato, and Sultan Kudarat, and the city of Cotabato. And I would like to invite also again our viewers to follow our afternoon show every Friday, 5 to 7 p.m. at their sister Khadija. And we read some issue of our Muslimah who suffered violation against Muslimah and their children. And we have also our available lawyer who are patiently listen to us. Sister Attorney Noon Hernandez.
Thank you for inviting our viewers to our dear Sister Khadija program, Sister Mariam. And we would like to encourage our Muslim sisters that we really need your support. Not only that you forward or you share our videos, you like or you subscribe to our YouTube channel or this FB channel, but of course we need people who are passionate in in ending the violence against Muslim women and their children. We may be few at the moment, but at least we have started on our movement. We have, even if it's just a few steps forward, but at least as one, in one direction, in one objective, in one intention, we are gearing towards the solution on the problem that have been affecting our Muslim sisters nationwide or worldwide. And of course, this is not an easy task. And we pray and hope that you will come out the surface and join us so that we at least can solve such problem. We may not see the solution on our lifetime, but at least we become role models to our younger generation of Muslims on this ending the violence against Muslim women and their children. So for now, we'd like to again give our gratitude to everyone for giving us your time. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
And thank you also.